So let's carry on with the introductions.
Yes, I'm Heather Scott. I'm the officer from the Town Council who clerks this meeting.
Mike?
I'm Michael Weaver, Harpenden West Town Councillor. Okay.
My name's Harry Gillam. I'm the Town Councillor in Harpenden Town.
Hello, I'm Pip Martin. I'm Town Councillor for Harpenden East.
Excellent. We'll go through the agenda. We're all here, which is good. Any declarations of interest by Michael?
Yes, I would declare it's not so much declarations, but I know both parties in relation to application 2016, which is 2041, which is number 2, Lidic or Lidica News. It's because I know the applicants well, and I also know the neighbours of the possible objectors as well. So I'd rather, I would sit that one out.
Okay, that's fine. So if you stay with us but don't participate in the discussion and the vote at the end, that's fine. Any other declarations of interest by anybody? No. Okay, on that note, let's move on to agenda item 3, which is the minutes of the last meeting. Are you happy to confirm that there are correct record of the meeting? You agree? Yeah. I'll just sign those then, here and now. Right. Any public questions?
No, nothing received.
So agenda item number 5 are the applications registered during the weekend in the 8th of July and on the weekend in the 15th of July. We've got some residents in this evening. Are the residents interested in the Lidica? Should we do that one first? Yeah. And which application are you interested in?
Leroy.
Leroy, okay. Right. Now, the first one we've got to clear up, is it Lidica or Lidica? We've been having a
Lidica. Usually Lidica.
Yeah, there we go. Right, okay, the Lidica's coming. So, do you want to get the papers back,
Yes.
Heather?
Well,
I think all of us have probably received some correspondence in advance in relation to this, both from, I think, on behalf of the applicants and then also from neighbouring residents who are objecting. Okay, so I think we've got Mr. Harold who is going to be speaking against the application. Would you like to join us at the table?
Yes, certainly.
And
well, there's a chair just here, so just sit there. You can sit next to the councillor.
Right, well, thanks.
And well, it's relatively informal. Do take a seat. And what we'll do is allow you to speak for 3 minutes, and then we'll allow Mr. Bruce to speak for 3 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Firstly, I am speaking on my behalf, and also I've collected the comments of Mr. Broomfield, who is the neighbour the other side on number 2, who's on holiday, or rather in Switzerland at the moment. The first point I'd like to make is that the location plan does seriously misrepresent the size of the plot. Now, this isn't a minor peccadillo, because I assume planning authorities take into account the size of the plot in relation to what the extension will supply. And in fact, about 60% is true drawing, and indeed that's what I call Schedule A, or what I submitted to Heather.
You do have a copy of that.
So I'd just like to put that right. Now, whether that counts or not is obviously not for me to say. The other point is that, again, that's a blow-up, by the way, of the actual document file that this is always tells me. The other document, the document also has a plan showing in pink, the proposed extension. And then mine next door looks like an extension. It isn't, it's a conservatory, which in one moment, but actually the size of mine is about just over 2 metres, 2.2 metres, whereas the proposal is 4 metres. So in terms of a small back garden, that's quite a significant difference. But having got that in place, I suppose the objection falls into two halves. One is the general one, kind of the amenity and so forth, and the other is my specific concern. In terms of the general thing, I think we can all agree that Harpenden Lodge, which was built in 1803, listed building, Grade 2 listed building, and the Mews are a very sensitively developed matter, and they have, shall we say, a unique place in Harpenden. At least I think they are. I've lived here 60 years. And I think it's very important that the unity of that is seen as a whole, and any proposed development is considered against that whole unity, not just one specific property. The gardens too were laid out in 1980s, I think in the mid-80s, and the walls also built, and that was then an award-winning development, which I think we all know about. Units within a conservation zone, unique in Harpenden. So I think any application should be judged regarding its impact on the whole unit, as well as the impact on the immediate neighbouring developments, if you like, but dwellings rather. So the walled gardens behind the Mews houses, they're small town gardens, but they're balanced in the overall context. I think anybody who saw them would agree with that. Now to the specifics. The immediate neighbours, Mr. Bloomfield to the north and myself to the south, we each have a small glass conservatory. If I talk about mine, it's because I know its measurements far better. Mine is 2.2 metres deep, not 4 metres. It has a glass roof sloping away from the house, which compares with the proposed extension, which is 4 metres deep with solid side walls, ridge roof, only a few feet it finishes only a few feet from the rear wall. It's probably 2.5 metres, so I of course haven't been in their garden to measure it. I'm not suggesting for a moment it wouldn't be built to a high quality, and my question is certainly to do with size. I can't even say that my life would come to an end if the extension were built. Nonetheless, it does obtrude to my vision if I'm sitting in my garden, which is perhaps twice the size of the garden to number 2. Next, to be quick about this, there's a precedent for rejecting overdevelopment of sites according to Mr. Bloomfield. Apparently some years back, the previous owner of his house applied for some development which was turned down for overdevelopment, or whatever that meant to the planet. The further point that Mr. Bloomfield makes, I'm not sure to what extent this has relevance to the decision, is access for construction machinery, parking space for builders and so forth, the made-up ground behind the house and so forth. I pass no judgment because I really don't know about anything to do with building. All I do know is that the extension obviously is going to involve builders coming there, and God knows where they're going to park. The only available parking is temporary, and okay, if someone moves in or has a plumber in for a week or two or whatever, fine. But the final thing I want to say, so I don't want to waste your time too much, is that obviously we would not object to a smaller conservatory extension in keeping with the line that's already there, which would then not obviously obtrude on the overall development. We're not trying to be unreasonable in this regard, but we do believe that this proposal would distort the overall unit and uniqueness, dare I say, of the Harpenden Lodge and the Mews.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thank you. So if you'd like to go back to your seat,
Yep.
and then we'll ask Mr. Brew to come forward. Thank you. Thank you. So again, roughly, if you go a little bit longer, I'm sure that will probably keep you in.
I'll try and read quickly. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to speak today in support of the planning application. This application is being made on behalf of my mother, who will be 95 in 2 weeks, and has lived in Harpenden for in excess of 40 years, past 10 years being at the dwelling which is the subject of this planning application. She recently suffered a fall, which has necessitated that she is currently undergoing a hip replacement and will now require 24-hour nursing care. Her home presently has only 1 bedroom and bathroom, and the purpose of this planning application is to provide a 2nd bedroom and bathroom to enable her to live out her remaining years in her own home and provide a full-time living carer, which is her preference by far to staying permanently in a nursing home. The proposed extension is on the rear of the property. It cannot be seen from the front. It won't have any deleterious effect from the actual overall development. It is shielded by council trees in Lydecker Park at the rear. It has also been positioned such that it is away from the 2 neighbouring adjoining boundaries, so that there is minimal, if any, impact, and is purely a single-storey extension. The choice of building materials will, of course, match the existing bungalow. I would also add that with the removal of the existing summer house and the garden shed, the extension represents a reduction of only 6 square metres of garden space, which is less than 7% of the total garden area. Both neighbouring properties have rear conservatory extensions, and in the case of the adjoining property, which is Honeysuckle Cottage, the conservatory and lean-to, which have been recently constructed and are of a very similar height and length to that of this proposed extension, have enabled the house to be substantially refigured to provide an extra bedroom. In fact, I have a copy of the plans to hand should they be of any assistance for you. With due regard to the letter of objection, the gentleman who has made these statements has only recently moved into the property and has made certain incorrect statements. All of the dwellings in the Mews have had major work undertaken in the last 10 years, and access through the Mews has never been an issue, nor has the parking. 2 Lydecker Mews was newly built by the original developer and has been built to blend in with Honeysuckle Cottage adjoining, as indeed the proposed extension will be as well. It does not date back to the 18th and 19th century as stated, and as with my proposal, it is not deleterious. It really isn't. Construction will be accessed directly through the property, and my mother has her own parking space immediately in front of her property, such that it will be minimal inconvenience to the neighbours. The block plan and the drawing illustrates the arrangement of access through the Mews, which is indeed owned by the Lydecker Mews Residents Association, for which I'm the co-director on behalf of my mother. I don't know, I never saw the actual plan that went in to the council. The architect put a red line around the actual area, and I think what's happened is he's inadvertently put a red line as it's shown on the National Grid reference, rather than what is actually there. But the block plan does make it a lot clearer actually when you look at that, to see the way the actual arrangement of entrance and so forth is done. In these circumstances, a favourable outcome is of course directly relevant to Mum's future care, and therefore I greatly appreciate your taking into consideration these comments when determining whether to grant this planning application.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start some of the discussion and covering some of the points. I think it's certainly quite clear to me that the issue about the plot um, is not particularly significant in the context. It just seems to be an error in the way that the architect has defined the plot. But I think there is an issue that we may want to consider in terms of the amenity space available to the property, because this will take up, the extension will take up some of the amenity space at the back of the property. Whether you want to claim that some of the area to the front is also part of the amenity space is debatable, I think. And certainly I don't think we should be assuming that everything within the red line is amenity space. The issues that were raised about access for the builders, that's not just planning consideration for us to worry about. What I think are more important issues is whether we consider the extension compatible with the character and appearance of the property. This is in the conservation area. It is a locally listed building, but as has been pointed out, this doesn't have any impact on the street scene at all because it's to the back of the property and can't be seen from Luton Road or from the front of the property. There's an issue in terms of whether we consider this will have an adverse impact on the neighbours. I asked Heather to bring up the Bing view, and it does show the original conservatory, which is on number 3. You can't really see the conservatory that's been put on number 1 in 2010 or whatever it was, but it's at the corner between number 2 and number 1, going towards the park, I think.
It's around about here.
Yeah. We know from other matters that typically within the St Albans policy, single-storey rear extensions of 3 metres are within policy. Subsequently, we know that for an attached property, permitted development now allows 6 metres single-storey to the back. But this is in a conservation area and what have you. And then, recognising it is in a conservation area, we will face the issue of whether this preserves or enhances the conservation area or the opposite of preserve and enhance. And that's always a consideration that we need to have in mind when we're thinking about something going on in the conservation area. We've heard a little bit about the proposal that the materials will be sympathetic to the construction of the existing property. So those, I think, seem to me to be the issues. Adverse impact on neighbours. Is it compatible with the character and appearance of the original building, preserved or enhanced? So, can I invite observations, thoughts? Are there any other issues? And of course I've mentioned amenity. I suppose the other thing to add, of course, in this particular case, in relation to the parking, if this now becomes a 2-bedroom property, and there's 1 parking space allocated, inevitably I'm sure the District Council would tend to view this as a very sustainable site, given that it's flat walk into the town centre, the station, buses, etc.
Yeah.
So, thoughts, Pip or Harry?
Anything to share, sir?
Well, I mean, if the concerns were, like David says, amenity for number 3, and also overdevelopment as well of the site. I mean, all this looks like it represents an overdevelopment of the existing building within the plot. So, I mean, I know it's proposed permitted development of 6 metres. but I believe the current conservatory at number 3 is 2 metres as opposed to the 4 metres we've got planned here. I think there's concern here in terms of losing amenity for the neighbouring properties with this extension.
Okay.
I think I'm torn because as much as we can argue the reasons for, we can also argue the reasons against. The lack of community space obviously isn't just a thought for the current residents. You've also got to bear in mind the amenity for future residents. Although we are losing, of course, the summer house and potting shed in respect, but it's still, I mean, obviously it's quite difficult to tell because the land's so small and we don't have dimensions. So we can't actually
have a quick look, see whether we've got to scale it.
I'll scale it off to here, because it's not always the most accurate, to be honest, but I'll scale it on
I mean, now obviously for an additional bedroom, she agrees with, increasing the amenity space as well as reducing it. So that's a consideration. I know it's a sustainable location, but the parking, instead of increasing, we're having an extra bedroom, no extra parking is going to be available, and it could be a detriment to the neighbouring properties.
We'll just that back bit, the space of the area at the back.
I do have a plan here, which it shows all these sheds.
Heather's just going to do it online,
Okay.
which hopefully.
Did you want to do it from existing?
Yeah, so just do the existing style and then also do the existing.
You go to the PDF version, there's a plus and minus above it, and it's straight up.
PDF version you can't scale on, no.
I'm not sure,
No.
I mean, I did it at home then.
Okay, well. There are some visitor parking spaces, of course, in addition to the outing spaces.
I'm guessing that was for visitors as opposed to, I should imagine the carer might need transport as well. So, although we can argue the cause for obviously this particular situation, I think the actual living carer might actually need parking themselves. I think so.
Although the residents presumably can drive in the car.
But maybe in the future, obviously, like it says, it'll be there for longer, just a few years, the extension.
Future residents.
Yeah.
It's in a conservation area, like you said. It is actually not seen from the front, screened from the back. So in that respect, I'm not minded about it. Does it preserve or enhance property? I'm not sure it does enhance it.
Right, so from the rear property to the rear boundary, it's 6.5 metres, and then across the width of the boundary along the back is 15 and just over 15.5.
So it's 20 meters. Just remind us how that.
It's 6.5 metres.
No, for amenity space, it's
Right.
40,
40 plus 20. Yeah, 20 plus 40.
Have you got the design statement too? I don't get it's not in here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
40 plus it's 20
Well, I thought it was 40 plus 20, so there's 80, if you net out the there's something like 80. So it needs to be used in space.
Okay. With the proposed extension.
Yes, so we'll get her to check it, yeah. Okay, I mean, let me share your views. I have to say I'm quite sympathetic to what's proposed. It doesn't have any impact on the view from the street scene. It's single story.
40 plus 20. 40 for the first bedroom and 20 for any further bedrooms.
Okay, so that then comes out at about 100 less than 16, so I got it down to about 80 odd, so it's within what's possible on these two spaces. Okay, so it's a sustainable location. Will it detract from the conservation area? I don't think it does, candidly. I must admit, I'm minded to support it. But clearly, we want the conservation area, the conservation officer to be all over it in terms of materials and what have you. But it isn't. It's quite marginal, I think. Because obviously, this is a very distinctive property, and this is a very distinctive development, and is quite, it's a relatively significant change to the existing development. So, when Michael's not going to participate, how do we feel if we're trying to conclude?
Well, if there's enough amenity space like we've just explored, and it is within permitted development, and as you say, there is no impact on the street scene. I don't know if we can raise the issue of parking. I mean, you say it's a sustainable location, whether we can suggest, well, we can't really suggest anything, because we're not going to build another parking space, are they? But yeah, in terms of the letter of the law, in terms of amenity space, and how much they're allowed to extend to, then it all seems okay on that one.
So this is slightly more than within policy though, isn't it?
In terms of amenity space?
In terms of the size of the extension.
Well, in terms of, so let's go to...
in terms of policy 72,
it would have to be within 3 metres, wouldn't it?
yes, but under the new permitted development, it's, yes. But whether or not the location being the conservation area and in the sensitive location, that would be deemed acceptable to be taken in consideration like that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we should say that, Heather, is that the 3 metres relates to a party boundary.
Yes.
And we're not on a party boundary. It's just sticking out at the back of the building. It's in those situations where you've got a semi-detached house and sort of 3 metres is the policy of both bits of a semi-detached house or a terrace. Okay, I mean, are we concluding that we are not objecting other than expressing concern about the parking?
Yes, my thought.
Within the letter of the law.
I mean, if you look at policy 40, there should be a minimum of 6 parking spaces per 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, although there is the sort of allocated and unallocated, but I accept that in the case here we're talking about visitors rather than...
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, so it still ends up a total of 2.
Yeah.
And you've only got 1.
Yeah.
Which I
plus visitors, but visitors is not an unallocated space for residents. Yeah.
And I honestly don't believe even that it's sustainable in, to walking distance. People these days have vehicles, just because they live in like a new, they are still going to have vehicles. So I am concerned about parking, so I'll see lots of express concern.
Yeah, okay. Obviously we've pointed to a number of developments in the town centre which haven't met standard, but I'm more than happy to go along with that. So I think we're saying that proposed development is considered acceptable, and that I was going to talk about acceptability in relation to impact on neighbouring properties, but I don't think that's a particularly strong issue, so I don't necessarily want to raise that. So no objection, and we want to say something ahead about materials,
yeah.
the importance of materials in the conservation area. But essentially we're saying that it calls in policy 69, 72 and 85.
And it's locally listed as well, so you want policy 87.
Okay.
Did we want, just 69, 85 and 87, did we want to refer to policy 72? Which is strictly related to extensions within, we may not.
Well, it's a policy that does apply, isn't it? So
compatibility. Yeah, compatibility of the original building.
So this is where we can refer to the car parking as well. So, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. So just to having finished our deliberations on that, we, as we're saying, we're not going to object, subject to expressing concern about the parking provision, given the additional bedroom that's been added to the property. There is our consultation response will go to the district council. It is only a consultation response. The district council's planning officers will now consider this. There is the opportunity, should you so wish, to for those who are objecting, to see if one of your 3 district councillors is willing to get this called in so that it's considered at committee. That's something I'm sure Michael can explain to either of the applicants if need be. But that needs to be a decision of one of the district councillors, so that Matthew Stevens, Julian Daly or Daniel Chichester-Miles. That will probably have to be done by Friday.
This one we've got longer, it's
It's
actually next Friday.
It's 2 weeks.
And the distinction I'm making here now is if the planning application is approved by the planning officer and it's not called in, then the decision will be taken. If it is called in to committee, the decision then will be taken by it's known as the Plans North Committee of the District Council. So it will actually be committee members who will take the decision based on the recommendation from the planning officers. Okay. Right. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
Is that all the plans?
And the next thing, design and active statement.
Right. So let's move on to Lee Road and to the application in respect to 39 Lee Road.
And what page was this on? Oh, here it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, there's one letter of objection which is tabled, which is from number 41 Lee Road. believe we've got the surveyor, is that right, to speak against the application? Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know your name.
Andrew Folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know whether you'll permit me to share a drawing with you, but sorry, I've only got the one copy, but
Yeah.
it might just explain what I was about to tell you.
Okay. So is that the, okay. So far away, you've got 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Although the drawings show the ridge heights of both properties, semi-detached, as the same, which indeed they are, it doesn't indicate that the ground levels fall away quite significantly between the two properties. And because of some peculiar internal structural arrangements, the actual floor heights and ceiling heights differ internally as between the two properties. Such that Lee Road number 41, which is the property that I'm speaking about, the objectors, is actually lower. So that although the drawing, and unfortunately the planning application equally doesn't show levels on the block plan, so you can't actually interpolate between the two properties. But as I say, because the two properties are at different levels and the finished floor levels are different, and the finished floor levels of the property at number 41 is about 400 millimetres lower, the impact of this new brick party wall is significantly detrimental to the amenity of number 41. It will actually be, at its worst, over 4 feet tall as it adjoins the property and then it slopes away, because the brick wall actually sits tight underneath the first floor window. So that from the conservatory, my clients will actually be looking straight at a 4-foot high brick wall. The property also faces northwest, so that the only natural sunlight it gets is, if you like, in the late evening. So for half the year with this wall in the way, it's going to get even less sunlight in particular. And of course it gets less skylight because the sky is obscured at the same time. The conservatory is the only means of lighting an inner room. Before the conservatory was built, there would have been a window in what was the dining room. And of course the conservatory, the neighbouring extension, had it been built, would then have considerably cut out light through the window. So if the extension were to be built, even with the conservatory as it is in place, it will significantly cut out natural light as it falls through the conservatory and tries unsuccessfully to reach the inner part of the inner room. So I think what we're saying really is that the drawings don't indicate the true nature of the proposal. They don't show the change of level. They don't show the harm that would occur to my client's property, and the loss of natural light and the loss of sunlight, and the fact that the dining room will become, well, you'd have to have the lights on all day into the dining room. Thank you.
Okay. Just remember which page this is on?
Oh, it's on page 13.
Right, okay. Right. Well, we would normally interact with somebody just speaking on behalf of the applicants, but just so that I must admit I'm a bit confused here by the plan that Mr. and Mrs. Turrell have submitted in relation to the back of the house.
Right.
And if you look, can you just go to the sort of satellite picture?
You want me to come out of this?
Yeah, but stay, not to Bing, but Street View will do, but just do the Google satellite. Can you just home in?
Yeah, try and get rid of that on the side. Like that's as fine as I could go, unfortunately. That in the
Oops.
I go in.
So, there's obviously at some stage been a new garage that's been put on the side.
Both properties have been extended to the side
Yeah,
in previous years.
yeah.
But what we're particularly looking at is the fact that on the rear the properties are actually staggered. I know this is why the drawings are so peculiar, because it looks like they are a level pair of semis, but in fact they're built on a hillside.
Yeah, I see that. Albeit that, when you look at the front elevation,
Yes.
all of the rooms are at the same level.
Yes, but that doesn't indicate the fact that internally
Right, okay.
the floor levels are different and the ceiling heights are different. So
Okay.
it's it's a cleverness of the way the original builder developed them to look like a continuous pair of semis, but actually they are staggered internally.
Right, okay. But then I'm still trying to understand that what's been extended to the side on some of these views, which of course may be historic now, shows a flat roof extension at the side, which comes right up to the conservatory. Now,
No, sorry.
hold it that right there.
Am I on the opposite side of the road there?
No.
That's it, isn't it?
Okay.
The side extension.
I think the proposals are to infill this piece here
Okay.
with a roof that will come up to the underside of that
Okay.
window.
But just to the other side, somebody has built a whopping great big garage, which is
Here?
really, yeah,
Oh, here?
yeah.
Yes, this is, yeah.
So how does that, how does that relate to the floor plan that the residents have shared with us?
I didn't submit that one, sir.
So is that a garage or is that a kitchen?
Yeah, it's just missing.
It's just a garage. It's missing the garage on the side, isn't it? But the extension is going here on this side.
This is the layout of the objective house, not the...
I know that,
Yeah.
but so if you look and see the conservatory
Yeah,
here,
so where the
That's your garage,
arrow is,
isn't it?
is the garage.
We don't have a garage.
This is-
Oh, so whose is this property here?
That's part of our property.
This is-
So that's your
It's
garage.
a room you go through.
Sorry, can I talk?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm the owner of the property actually. So this is outdated, this photograph,
Okay.
this picture, because since this was taken, there's been a development of a
You've got a two-story, because when I was
yeah,
showing
exactly.
the street view, I could see the
Two stories.
scaffolding.
So actually, what happens is this is basically adjoined. So there's a door that two members here have been into the property. So you go into the house, and then there's been an extension on here. So you go all the way through into the conservatory. All this is adjoined. So this is the kitchen, but there's a second story here. But the area which we're concerned about is this area here,
Yeah.
sort of filling in the block. But this is no photograph.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's
But
no, this was the old garage. It's no longer a garage. It was converted into a kitchen.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, I suppose what nevertheless that does highlight is that this property has been extended backwards and right up to the conservatory. So obviously some of the natural light has gone from the east side, and of course what the neighbour on the other side is looking to do is something not dissimilar. And indeed, we were referring to policy 72 before, and this issue about rearward extension on a party boundary, and the policy allows for 3-metre rearward extension, and that is what this resident is proposing to do with number 39. Okay, well anyway, we've cleared up the issue of the historic aerial shots, which everything was accurate. Oh yes, it's twisted round, there might be a later one.
Yeah, just to help us with it. It's very grainy. I mean, I could try the previous version and see if it's better quality. Sometimes you do find it.
No, that's quite interesting as well actually though, because it shows that old garage, and obviously that has changed now with the two-storey element.
So just to clarify, this area here, which is sort of just out at the back, that's coming flat roofed on this picture here, has that become a two-storey?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joined to the conservatory.
Yeah. It's true.
So you can pass from the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that explains that. We can also see your neighbour's got a swimming pool, right? Okay, so we've got this challenge of the differences in height between the two properties. Now, have either of you had the chance to see it?
Yes.
Okay, well let's hear from you rather than have me prattling on.
I would say, I appreciate that single story is within policy. However, it is the way they obviously have a sloped roof, which does go up to the bottom of the first floor window.
Yeah.
So it does mean that you have obviously a wall higher than you would if it was, just a flat roof, which no doubt will have the effect of reducing light from neighbouring property. I can understand what you're saying, that obviously if this property is enjoyed almost doing the same the other side, 2-story, but I find that difficult. If you make any changes to your own house, you can make your internal changes, and obviously that's your own choice. But obviously the planning policies for a reason, and obviously they're there, so neighbours can't simply slip anything to detriment of their neighbours, basically. So obviously as the light comes round, I think it will affect the light to the property. Like you say, well, if the conservatory wasn't there, it would be a main room. You'd have a window there. So although the lower end, so I don't know how the 45 rule would obviously if it came out like this, it would be within policy. There would be no objection anyway, or would there? 45 rule into the...
No, the
2-story.
Yeah. But I don't know how it applies to any additional slopes like that. I mean, even with the internal layout.
Generally, we do, if there's a pitch on the roof, we generally accept that
as part of the 2-story.
Yeah. I mean, clearly some people now have flat roofs with lanterns, and I think there is a roof light proposed. Probably there's a roof light proposed for this as well. Did you get a sense of the 400 mil which seemingly exists between the level of somebody in the conservatory and then the level at which this extension is starting out to the back?
I wouldn't say I could gauge it that well myself.
Because presumably...
It's more the height that's going to come up, because it is the road is on a slope. It's more the height that the brick wall is going to come up over and above. The conservatory, it's solid wall up to a certain height, height, and then you've got a glass panel across the wall and then across the roof. So it's more that the brick wall here, the triangle here, is really going to be affecting the view, I think, the light, etc.
Okay. Michael?
I also took the advantage of visiting the property on Sunday, and you do have to go inside the property to get the real feel of this, actually. And there's no doubt about it. The road does slope down considerably, and you see where they've dropped down. If you just look at the conservatory, there's quite a lot of light in there at the moment. That's where the sunshine comes in. If you built up on the sloping, near the sloping roof, it would considerably take away the light from that room. It would considerably affect hopefully there are other considerations to take into account there. That does alter the character of the room which is considered a conservatory in number 41. And that is because of the two things, the drop in the lower floor. And because it becomes so close to the boundary, it would have a very big effect on the immunity. That's my opinion on that side.
Okay, yeah. But that's living in a semi-detached house, party boundary,
yes.
The 3-metre rule. That's why the 3-metre rule is there. I mean, presumably at the back of the house, the eaves and the windows are still all in line. So wherever the top of this pitched roof is mortared into the wall at the back, it will be in line with the windows for both 31 and 41. Sorry, 39 and 41. Internally, of course, how it quite works out. So, okay, I mean, I have to say, I find it very difficult to deny, I feel it's difficult to deny 39 an extension which ostensibly is within policy, and again, permitted development would allow that to go out to 6 metres on an attached property. I can well understand that if that was a flat roof rather than having some pitch on it, it might be it might have less impact on number 41. But equally, you know, we've sat in these meetings many times and said that we prefer pitch roofs to flat roofs, you know, for aesthetic reasons and often because they function better. So let's we need to come to a conclusion. I have to say I'm inclined not to object, and I don't think the residents have got any concerns about the dormer. I mean, often some of these dormers are a little bit over the top. Actually, would you stop being up there, Heather? Can we just see how many houses have got 3-metre single stories at the bottom?
Will all the loft conversion add another bedroom though?
Probably will be, yeah.
Are we talking about parking
Don't
now as
you
well?
have an
or not?
issue with parking?
No?
So just on both sides of the street, just quick, so there's a conservatory and a 3-metre single story at the end house.
This is obviously as it was on this state,
Yeah,
you know, back
yeah.
then, so
They've gone,
this one's gone, you know, single.
both next door have gone 2 stories at the back.
This one here.
Yeah, just go up the road a little bit. So we're 3-metre single story all along there.
These maybe.
Yeah. And because they've got pitch roofs, well, it's hard to tell with the one at the top, which has got the glazing element, but the ones at the bottom of the picture, they are undoubtedly pitched, aren't they? Coming up quite high on, you know, the fenestration on the first floor. But there you see the slope on the road. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go around the table. Mike, are you?
I'm still not happy with that actually.
Okay. Express concern or refuse?
I would express concern on this one, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't visited the property, but I know Lee Road, I know the slope, and I can see from the picture the point they're making. Obviously, I read the letter as well, and for me, it is expressed concern over the loss of amenity, or potential loss of amenity, but like you say, David, it is within the letter of the law, permitted development, etc., so we really aren't minded to refuse it, because it is within planning regulation.
Okay. Sophie, you have to express concern?
Yes.
Okay, so well, let's go with that then. So we're expressing concern. It's about the impact of the pitched roof on the conservatory and the very specific local issue of the differences in the floor levels between the 2 properties. So,
This was just, was this 4 bedrooms before? Looks like that. I should imagine that's still on the phone, but just to double check.
Have you not got the existing? They don't actually divulge, unfortunately. They've only given plans which show the ground floor.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, they have.
Okay, so there's a different,
so it's 4 bedrooms is going to 5, is it?
yeah, that's all in sign.
And it looks as though you can just, well,
This side got one? It's Harpenden
no,
Town.
I don't think so.
You get 3 cars on there, if you
Yeah,
park it properly.
It's 4 or more.
You can park actually.
Yeah.
It's not great, but
Not the best, but you probably could.
we're just going from 4 to 5, which
That doesn't differ in the number of spaces. No. The jump is going to go from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
so we'll just express concern in relation to the impact of on number 41. Yeah. Okay. Done.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Do take your.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good night.
Right.
Okay.
Let's crack on.
Go back to the beginning of the day.
44 Roxham Way.
Keeps getting English books it up, and it's such a useful one.
That one?
Yeah, it gives so much more detail on the
Right.
policies, you see. I foolishly forgot to bring it up. You should all have one.
Oh yeah. Have a desk at home.
Okay, right, 44 Roxton.
Yeah, I have no problem with this.
Did you want me to say
It's
what
the other side of the footpath, isn't
It
it?
is, yes. It borders the alleyway, so no impact on the neighbours on that side. Only single story. Good amount of screening to the rear, back onto the school.
Yeah.
Fairly large extension to the side of the property, although it does seem to fit on the plot. Addition of a parking space totaling 2 on the plot shouldn't cause any impact on the street.
Okay, and then Dartleaf Road, there was a new projecting rear extension, roughly about 3 metres, so seemed fine, subject to no loss of amenity.
Yeah, it does not infringe on the neighbour's 45-degree extension, just over 3 metres in depth across the existing flat roof single-story extension. Not increase the number of bedrooms, just enlarging bedroom space, not conservation area, 3 parking spaces and garage on the site. So it's to be happy. I didn't write that on my notes.
Single story in Willow Way, both at the front and the back, fine as long as there's no impact.
Yeah, so extending out in line with the existing porch, which the neighbour appears to have already extended. Filling in the gaps to the rear in line with the existing single-story extension. Other properties in the row have extended to the rear. Do not believe it will cause any impact on it.
Okay, 41 Chesterton Avenue. You had no objection here.
You're welcome to learn.
Well,
I've got the old application here as well.
yeah, it didn't seem to differ that much, other than there was a pitch on the roof of the single-story extension which has disappeared now, it's gone flat.
Yes. Yeah, so the same scheme as the refused application intended to. The only visible change is the roof over the family room, which is to be flat. I was unsure about the refused scheme, but went with it as a similar previous scheme had been approved.
Oh, had it?
Yes. I've got all 3, see.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
I only looked
so-
at the previous one. I mean, we talked about the awkward glass elevation, and I think we talked about, the depth of the first floor elements, which hasn't changed, has it?
No.
Okay.
But, I mean, I've got the, if you want to look, I can show you very, very quickly. So this is the,
Well, I tell you what, the way it's actually rephrased it, no objection subject to previous reasons for refusal.
Being
I
addressed.
think
yeah, because I was...
That sounds good.
No, and that's kind of why. And then I looked back and this application here had been approved.
Right.
And said obviously she tried to buy it a bit more showy and then got refused, so...
Okay. So, yeah, happy with that on the basis of previous reasons. Tinton Closewell is a small front porch.
Yeah.
We can get excited about there. 2 cross paths. This property has changed quite a bit,
Yeah,
but it's a large plot.
it is, yeah. So a good sized plot on the end of the road, which appears to be ample to accommodate the proposal. Street has 2-storey dwellings. Fair distance away from the rear neighbours and side. I believe willow at the front had already been removed, so the pictures that you can sort of see on the web, I think it's gone anyway. Ample parking on the site, amenity space surrounds the property, so it's...
Okay, I was happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a bit sad to lose another bungalow, but
it's the way of it at the moment.
keep going.
This one, Falklands Field, was sort of building in a conservatory.
Yeah, we moved the conservatory, replacing partially with a brick extension. Corner plot with good space, very little change to the look with limited effect on the neighbour.
Yeah. So then, 9 Shepherd's Way, this is a side and rear elevation, window to the side. Is this one where the angles were lit?
Yes, this is,
Yes.
so the angles were slightly bizarre. Annoyingly, I couldn't, it jumped from there to there, they're
Yeah,
obviously
maybe
opted out.
yeah.
So, yeah, 2-storey, the 2 single-storey extensions, 2 individual single-storey extensions to a bungalow on a generous plot, dwelling on the angle. Proposal shouldn't cause any impact on neighbours, nice addition, not conservation area, no additional bedrooms. Making use of the plot really.
Yeah.
Look at this plot, these people here have got.
There's a football pitch.
Yeah,
back
I
there.
know.
Yes.
That's where,
What do you see from above?
or- actually, I know we're being recorded, but I
That's
think,
French appeal, isn't it? So
which one?
the,
Hammond.
no, the
Oh,
Roundwood,
oh,
yeah, Roundwood foot.
Feel on
The cult should go there.
Right, now I was thinking about the application we had last
Oh,
time.
right, yes, that's an interesting one, yes.
It's been approved.
Yes, but,
Oh, for the fence?
yes,
Football fence.
but yes,
Yeah.
it's been approved, but,
With some conditions, presumably.
I'll
Anyway,
elaborate.
we'll
I will
digress.
elaborate. Anyway, moving on.
Harpenden Common Golf Club. Now, this
Yeah, I
is...
think this is, we can obviously consult on it, although we are the landowner, we aren't the applicant for this. They are wanting to do some changes to their access driveway and car park.
So half the car park is tarmac at the moment, and they want to tarmac the rest of it.
Yeah, I'll have a further section.
Have they extended the car park?
No, I think it is car park already.
Yes. So it just is an area that's gravel at the moment, so you've got, this is quite a good plan, it shows an area that's tarmac, and then the area that's gravel, they're wanting to basically turn it all to become tarmac.
So this will be in the green belt.
It is.
I assume.
They've put in, I think that we've been assisting them with the application for Secretary of State, because we're obviously to turn it into permanent. Our standing, we have to apply to Secretary of State, so Highwood has been assisting the golf club in that, and obviously this is a separate application to that.
So is there harm here as a result of extending this whole area to tarmac? Actually, yes, it might be good if we could
Yeah.
get...
Something to allow me, come on.
I mean, this is in
What's the
relation,
first application?
Yes.
For this, yeah.
Yeah.
this is more in relation to the National Planning Policy Framework, isn't it, with regards to the environmental impact on...
Well, there are policies on what you can and can't do in the green belt. And generally, the view is, is there harm being caused to the green belt? Is the openness of the green belt being is detracting from the openness of the green belt?
I think that's us.
The town council is helping them with their application for the Secretary of State.
Just, well, in terms of that, I think we're assisting them with the documentation, because if I think as the landowner are doing that, same as we assisted the cricket club with the applications for their...
I think that you touch on and I think the major consideration is the openness of the green belt here. With the trees around, don't think there's any effect on the openness at all on this.
There we go.
So obviously it's screened slightly by the trees.
So it's hard to tell what is tarmac and what isn't there. to be
Yes.
honest.
It's
So
So
probably
I
an old
think from
photo,
the
isn't it?
drawing, I think from this point here and under the
Into
tree,
that.
there is gravel. And
Yeah.
from this point up
Yeah.
towards the pavilion is the tarmac.
On
So I
here,
can
it's
see there, yeah.
between the first and second
I-
big tree there. This is the divide.
Well, my personal view is I don't think that's going to detract from the green belt.
No.
Exactly. I think
Well-
with the screening of the trees in particular there, it doesn't...
Will it affect the trees? So that's my one sort of concern. By having the gravel, it's more of a permeable, more of a breathing surface
Okay,
than
I'm
tarmac. I mean, that's my own,
Okay,
one
I'm very
observation.
happy that we've
We've
made comment.
Yes.
Because, we wouldn't want to lose that because there is an element, there's an element of screening that affords
Oh,
the car
definitely.
park really.
And I mean, that's part and parcel of saying okay to it, is because
Yeah.
it's,
Because of it so hidden and obscured from...
a separate entity, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, well there's policy 74, isn't there, which refers to the trees and landscaping. And there's probably something that...
It's NPPF 88 and 89.
88 and 89.
So, we don't think that this detracts from the openness of the green belt or cause harm to the green belt. However, the committee was concerned to ensure that measures to tarmac that there are measures to protect the trees adjacent to the area now to be tarmacked.
Yeah,
Good
because
wording.
some more so, obviously these ones that are actually
In the...
Probably in
within,
the car park itself.
within totally there, as
I
opposed to
think the
these
wording
ones.
is fine.
They were
They'll
meant
have
to
to build around the tree,
protect
won't they?
Adjacent trees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Check
it's
the
that
tree.
the thing that they are proposing, these sites are proposing to right up to the trunk of that one in particular.
Yeah, that's right under it, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's amazing how trees do grow through
Yeah.
tarmac roads. Go look at Park Avenue.
Yeah,
Not Park
Yeah.
Avenue, Salisbury Avenue.
yeah.
But they need some sort
But
of...
it's
Yes.
just...
But I think you've covered it in the
these-
wording,
Yeah.
in your wording there.
But I'd say probably the difference with some is that they're planted when they're small saplings into an area like that, whereas these are obviously got big canopies and the front big root system with a permeable surface. So if they're going to suddenly, it will, it could have a major impact on the amount of water they receive.
Well, increase it, not come out of water.
No, they would reduce it.
Reduce it.
Because at the moment it's some type of gravel where it
Yeah.
might even be particularly thick around
Yeah.
here. If you're suddenly tarmacking all that, I mean, that would, it's considerably close actually all the way around some of those trees, the parking spaces.
So, take appropriate steps to ensure
Because of the impermeability of the tarmac. Yeah.
and we might even
Just
add,
thinking back to my GCSE geography
and
here.
the committee considers
Right, so, yeah.
the way
We'll have to have a bit of a, we'll have to have a little bit of a hash up of this.
But this is something that the district council's tree officer should look at.
Yeah.
Very good.
Whatever he's called.
Mr. Broad.
Yeah, Mr. Branch, it is, isn't it? Yeah, literally.
So this one is Mr. Root.
That's it, yeah.
Or is that the
They came round and
district
looked at
council?
our trees and oh God, my dad couldn't believe it. Mr. Branch, Mr. Root.
Okay.
I'll probably need your assistance in getting the wording correct.
Right. I might not be able to track changes in the next few days, but I'm sure I can work on it. Okay, done? Yeah. West Common Way didn't have any objections there. We have to straight out of, and then we get to the Kimming on East Common. Now there were quite a lot of objections.
Yeah,
Well,
I've got
objections from two households.
I've got a series of emails. Silly paper. I've got a sort of email dialogue with the residents that live at Pentland, I believe it is, which is next door to the Common. Very concerned really about the landscaping, if you like, the front of the property. Really, a lot of it hinges on the fact that the people living in the Common already have 4 cars that they are trying to squeeze onto a very tight area. And the proposal that they're wanting to do is going to further affect that.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea, this is the access to the houses just off the sort of Cravels Road. The properties along here have ways for the town council to be able to gain access into their properties. So it's essentially really this gravel path with this gravel drive is common land. So this is the house that this is the Pentland, which is the neighbour of the Common, who is concerned. This is the Common here, the slightly more modern looking house. They have already removed the shrubs and trees bordering along the boundary line between themselves and Pentland. So that all of that, Harry, that you're showing there, that has been removed, and they are proposing to replace it with a fence. So if I can just get the dialogue up here. The recent correspondence, which I appreciated. I believe my neighbour, Mr. Nigel Joyce, at Coldswood Lodge, is also concerned about the plan changes to the front of the Common. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the term landscaping to the front is ambiguous. And Mr. and Mrs. Riley plans to make space for more cars, which will make the area even more suburban. I would urge you to seriously consider these points, which have serious implications for not only the outlook of the area, but also for safety. We leave our house and often our 4 cars squeezed into the space for 2, with more parked cars on the grass. This has begun to affect our quality of life. It is with this in mind that we are considering opposing the planning before Tuesday, which will certainly affect any relationships between us and the neighbours. This is an area, as you know, is protected by Natural England. I understand that we're in this position. And we've had a further email to say that our neighbours at the Common are erecting a large bin store at the front, which will be seen from our home and the road. We want to erect a 6-foot fence down the side and sloping towards the front road and Common. It is their wish that we split the cost, but at the moment I'm unsure whose fence it is. But we're trying to find this out. As they have removed the large hedge to make space for parking, we've lost privacy and the natural look of the area. They go on about other various bits and pieces. But the gentleman that lives at Coldswood Lodge, he raises sort of concerns about various different things, about the fact they're not widening the driveway, that they're proposing to lose the existing double garage to become habitable living space. So I think
it's currently how many bedrooms?
5, and it says 5. In terms of
the double garage.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the building, there's a bit of work at the back, which is marginal, and then they're losing the double garages, and they're kind of building so driveway aside, I think the building is not contentious.
They don't have an issue with what's proposed right now. I think it's the aesthetics of the street
Well, the
scene.
only thing it obviously is they're taking, it doesn't sound like they're using the garage parking at the moment.
Well, the garages.
They're probably stored.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen one picture somewhere which had 2 cars, one behind the other.
But by the by, isn't it? They are taking their parking spaces.
They are, yeah. And so we can certainly expressed concern or more about that. Now, in terms of the layout, I mean, some of the neighbours have raised concerns about the landscape plans that they've got. And of course, the other thing I should say is they're building a porch at the front, which will jut out a little bit. So what they're suggesting to us is that this is the before, and within the before they've included the bin store and grass on there, and showing that you can park 2 cars. And then the after is that they've sculpted out a bit of the land in front of the porch because they want to gain access to the new porch. But the suggestion is that they're not changing the width of the frontage onto
the gravel.
Other than presumably they've cut back some of the heads that are sticking
That's
out.
all gone, I think, from what I can understand.
So is that because they're not allowed to? Is this a shared access?
Just the access road.
Is there any? Yeah, but obviously there would have been the original plans, whatever, to put this, to have this access over here, and the agreement to make this opening. Would there be anything in it to stop them increasing the size?
I did look at the Wayleave. It's quite difficult to understand. It's quite old, and the wording isn't clear. But I would assume that the Wayleave would not give provision for you to park a car on the pen. It's designed to be, as you say, an access road to the property that you should really, once you've accessed or come along it, you should then gain access onto your own land to leave your car there.
But to be honest, I'm glad that they're leaving some green space.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to stop them
Doing that.
trying to get rid of that. Is there?
Well, I don't know.
Even though it's in...
There may be, because of this Wayleave issue. I mean, where, in other parts of East Common, where you've got these big swathes of grass in front of a path, and then you've got the sort of houses, to go across like that, you have to have a Wayleave to do that.
Yeah.
Whether that's the case,
They've got the same...
I don't know. There is some suggestion in some of the letters that is the case, and they can't shave great big pieces up here, but can be else. I don't know.
The thing is that we're drawing on knowledge that we've got because we're the town council, we've got the Wayleave, the Wayleave is stood up. Looking at this on a planning point of view, which I think is how we should approach it.
To be honest, the fence is not our issue at all.
No, the fence is not a planning issue as such, but in fact, I can see one of the letters, the first of the letters, did say it changes the character. Because the bin store and the thing, it completely changes the character, but that's not for us to say. So, because the neighbour is obviously upset to see the loss of this, green, big hedge and that sort of thing.
But presumably, I mean, looking at the age of the property, this has been an infill property at some stage.
Yes.
And of course that would change the character of the road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of the building as such, I haven't got an objection. I think we should express, at least we should express concern about the loss of the 2 garages. But do we go further, given, and I must admit, looking at the landscape plan here and here, what they're proposing doesn't seem unreasonable. Now, whether they end up with 4 cars on there somehow, some way.
But to be honest, they're not increasing the bedrooms. They're reducing garage space. And to be honest, if they're squeezing 4 cars on here already, they're not using the garage. It doesn't sound like they're using the garage
Doesn't look big enough anyway.
But it's still a policy.
Yes.
Okay, so no objection, but express concern about the loss of the 2 garages, the 2 companies, 2 garages.
Definitely. Do we need to mention anything about the Wayleave then?
No, because it's not
Preventive.
That's not serious.
Yeah. All the other stuff, the residents.
The only-
I mean, we can, I mean, I'm happy that we make an observation. Just put that like this. The committee was pleased to note that on drawing TK025, capital T, capital K, oblique 025,
Oh, right, okay.
that that it's proposed that the is it the size or the length? The lawn fronting onto the shared access track, the length of the lawn fronting onto the shared access track is not diminished. So
The length of the lawn coming on, yeah.
bordering the shared access track, or that's what they say.
Fronting.
Fronting, that's right, is not being diminished. So I think that just puts down a bit of a mark, isn't it, that we expect that to stay. Okay? Yep.
Yes, definitely.
Let's go to our Cranbourne Drive correspondence.
They had an application before, I think.
What, from
24, wasn't it? This resident?
Very
Very similar
no
thing.
history on this one. But this is to build over the garage, and here's some of the houses there are quite tight up against each other, and this will make this one very tight up against 26.
Yeah, I'm sure we had the same conversation. Maybe they withdrew it or something. This is because this is the one we had no objection, and I said, "Oh, can we have a look at it just to see how it impacts?"
We jumped ahead from it. But number 1 was 20.
So we've done that.
Yeah, number 1.
So, I mean, I've got no objection, but Harry thinks we've seen this before. It must have been
I'll
another
double
one.
check.
No, okay, yeah.
Only couple of 10 years.
Well,
I don't think Harry was here.
I know, so
yeah, I'm positive that we have looked at it. And she was doing the same thing, so I don't know what's happened to the original there.
24.
Because it's going over the garage and it's going to fill it in. And the only reason I
Invalid. It was invalidated. Yeah.
Does that mean she withdrew it?
So no, it was invalid. There was discrepancies with it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's why it didn't come up, because
Yes.
it was invalidated. The one before
Yeah.
that was 1999.
But well done, good
Yeah.
recall.
Well, it's only up the road. I mean, we had
But
this discussion before anyway, and we said it was still fine.
Okay.
We looked at it in detail, and I don't think there's much difference with this
Well,
one to the previous.
the one before was a front extension to the garage, a new porch with cat side roof and first floor side, and this is just a first floor side. So she's got rid of an
Ditched
awful
the
lot, yeah.
frontage, yeah.
Okay. Right,
Yeah.
done then.
That's fine.
Yeah, happy with that. Then we've got District Council doing lots of stuff. And so then we come to 5 Fairmead Avenue. It's a wraparound extension. It's quite big actually, isn't it?
They've got space though on the
Have
the
they?
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got quite a bit of space because the next property is above it, isn't it? And they've got
Presumably
space to expand it.
The space at the side is there's a driveway going to an old garage. It's probably a bit tight for today's cars, I suspect, and therefore they wanted to build out to it.
Very, very old garage.
Yeah, there's no way that you get the car down.
And they're not close to the other property there because you've got their driveway, haven't you, on
Yeah.
that side, so
So
they
yeah.
wouldn't be impacted on the neighbour's amenity.
So this is going from 3 beds to 4 beds, I seem to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I did make a note to say that there was only 2 parking spaces, but it's so difficult for us to keep banging the drum, and it just doesn't, like, certainly in Fairmead and Highfield, you know, we've raised these concerns about the lack of parking on this difficult road, and they just keep on being approved, and it just...
Does that mean we stop then?
I don't know.
I think we're quite, you know, whilst...
Carry on with it.
Yeah, and, you know, it does, when we get to the detailed plan and, you know, we're thinking about the new version of this, we can harp on about it. And, so, yeah. So can you just add then?
Yeah, so I'm of course,
right.
yeah, I mean, I did sort of...
You say they are at their addition, adding a parking space.
But only to 2.
Only 2 parking spaces,
okay.
yeah, so really we are deficient by 1.
I think we've got to make the point.
Okay, I'll amend that then to take on board about parking. Were you happy with the other bit?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I think what we can say is no objection to the proposed extension, however we can express concern over the insufficient parking.
Okay, so then we've got 2 applications in respect of semi-detached properties in Barnfield Road. And my first question is, are these locally listed, these?
Let me just...
They're the old ones in Barnfield, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're on the corner.
They are.
The car that's on the top when you walk down
Yeah.
into the front door. So if the car's on the... You haven't put the handbrake on the car, then it's going to go into the house.
Was there not an application for the next one to the north, which
Yes,
was objected to?
historically.
No, just within the last year.
Quite possibly.
Probably, yeah. I think it
And
was committee.
No.
They,
Barnfield is not in the conservation area, which means it's
Okay.
not included.
Right, okay. But anyway, I mean, these are quite distinctive properties.
Yeah.
And the key thing for these is there are a series of semis in a row. They all have hip roofs.
yes.
One of them, adjacent to, I think it's 61, has a dormer on a hip roof pointing towards one of these houses. And the intention here now is to go to a gable. So, and I just feel that's wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tandem application actually with number 63.
Yeah.
Number 59 has made changes to the roof form, which we just raised. Losing the gabled feature of the dormer window.
At the
Flat,
back.
yeah. Flat roof dormer, do we like this in this location? Quite a busy look to the rear of the property. Appears to only have 1 parking space.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like this came up before on Barnfield Road, I remember, and I think we mentioned about overdevelopment of the plot. So I mean, with this one as well, would we say about compatibility with the original building? Because that's going to make it look completely different to what it is now. Well, yes, yeah. And are we adding an extra room in
the roof.
Yeah.
Well, it
Basically.
makes it kind of habitable, isn't it?
Mm.
You can spend up your ground.
So, I must admit,
Take the space between that and that.
well, it used to be looking straight at the gable anyway. So I have to say, I'm inclined to onto the artistic.
Yeah.
That's quite a good one to see how it's changing from this sort of kind of character and style to this sort of...
Monster of the door.
Well, it's,
Drop.
yeah, and the fact that there's sort of almost cladding it as well.
Is that what they're trying to do? What they...
Yeah, well,
Oh.
it's doing it in slate.
But it will
Slate
be
might be, but it will certainly...
compatible with the old sort of, what was that kind of
Is
like?
that tile?
Turn of the century.
Yeah, and it's clay tiles as well, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think they were hoping that by doing it in the tandem with their neighbour, that
Yeah.
by having a pair that matched,
They're
it
obviously
might be
looking
more agreeable, but...
Okay, so we're...
Actually, you can change to from gable. It's community development, isn't it? Changing the shape name.
Is it?
But it's a proximity to the
Yeah.
neighbouring property, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Overdevelopment, can we say as well?
So we're in the territory of scale and character. Compatibility with the original building and its distinctive front and rear gables. We'll just go to the impact on number 59 on the side gable.
Right, so we're going to, scale and character, compatible with the original building with its distinctive, so front and
rear gables.
Yeah. And then you were saying about
The impact on 59.
Yeah.
And then the creation of, is it a fourth
Maybe
bedroom?
handbrake on there.
Third.
So they've got two bedrooms?
Yes.
Otherwise, that goes straight into
Yes,
the front.
it's the thing, what they're putting in the loft, they're terming it as bedroom 2.
So really,
Bedroom space, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know how big that is, so that could be perfectly.
Right, well, let's just talk about it in terms of the provision of an additional bedroom with insufficient parking.
Well, there's hardly any parking there anyway.
No. Yes, you're quite right.
So they just built on a platform.
Yeah,
is it?
that's
Yeah.
fair, so it's going to be it's not like this is level and can do another one.
I don't think you can really do much more to those properties on Barnfield Road.
They've both got rooms, they've all got them, haven't they?
They're so close
And
together as
actually,
well.
the bed will go,
You make them
even
any
higher.
bigger, and the problems that we're talking about just present themselves.
Okay, so
Yeah.
have you...
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. What about, did you want to repeat it then for 63?
Yeah.
63 are literally
That's right,
matching it.
Yeah.
It's hard in that it doesn't have the same
They
impact
haven't got on
on the
59.
other
No.
side.
Yeah. Oh, and we should say something about the very dominant rear gables. Sorry, rear door. Okay. Right.
One Barnfield Road.
Going 38 Barnfield, that was pretty straightforward, single story side and rear extension. Happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. 141 Crabtree Lane. So this is the semi-detached properties that are going up at the moment, and they want to come back for side second story gables, and also there are conservatories going on the back as well.
Yeah, this one I've printed off actually 3 sets of plans really. The approved, the new and the ones that were refused. And I'm a little bit minded to believe that with the new plans we were almost getting back to the application that was refused.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to let you guys have a little look and say what you felt. I mean, we're getting very long out the back. I know it's in a single story, but it is stretching quite a distance now.
Yeah, and we don't have any sense of what next door, because next door's been is brand new, isn't it? So
This
no,
side,
on
this
this
one here,
side.
right.
And so one doesn't know about the impact of this very long single-story
And then-
restriction. But again, we're in the...
You can sort of see it a little bit here. I mean, it's very close.
Right.
Take out these little bits
So
here.
this is the current one.
This is,
This is the second
no, this is the new one.
Taking out these bits here.
Yeah, this is the approved, I think, from here, which goes up there. And then we wanted to add on the second bit.
Right. So there's no second story element there, is there?
No.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So that you can sort of see. So I mean, even though
It's hot, isn't it?
Give it a lot. Can we put the aircon on?
Well, you can do. I mean, I might just take my tie off.
Oh, it's not the new one, yeah.
Lot of that is
Okay, so they're putting the ears back on.
I think one of the good things about the improved design was that it brought the ridge height down, and that pointy sort of ridge height that was the gable in the front has gone. However, I do think it is very cheap back, and I would see this reintroducing elements from the refused application, which I'd be happy to repeat to.
Yeah, I mean, they've got an approved plan there, and now they're trying to, like you say, go back and
Nibbling away, aren't they?
integrate some of the refused
It's almost
plans
going
in.
back to the original.
So they should stick with what's been approved. I mean, it's not quite as bad as refused, but like you say,
You're seeing elements of it coming back in. Like the refuse packs are huge on the front.
Well, I mean, that's what districts then, isn't it?
But certainly reintroduce that refused
Yeah.
application.
So which the committee are not in favour of?
Do not
that's cutting it.
So conservatory extra as well.
Conservatory extra. Okay, so you refer
If
back.
you also express concern about the
Got to be 6 metres.
the depth of the single-story rear projection. Yeah, although somebody from across the road feels a bit missed that can be asked about it again. I don't think she really realised that.
It's been approved.
Yeah. Right, so let's go to Northfield Road. Didn't have any issues with that. This is the front and side, half two-story rear. Let's park on the road.
Yes, so adding a bedroom, but currently no allocated off-street parking, but proposed to add a one off-street park.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So adding a, the back.
Okay.
So you can gain out through garages, I believe. Yeah, at the back. There are some popular car parking spaces back. So yeah.
There's a garden.
Yes, really, yeah. They've got, ample, good size front garden, and then, it goes up, it's got some plants, and it's set to go up. We've got different views.
Lilac.
Yes, we've agreed on that now.
Okay, so we've done the road, park mount, I didn't have any problem with that, because we've rightly pointed out the garage. And of course, park mount is fine. Harpenden Road, I didn't realise there was a property there, to be honest. This is right round the back of it.
It is.
Which
Yeah.
I deliver there. Right, okay.
The Linfield.
Right. No comment required by neighbour, the next two, three, and then we've got the Harpenden Common also again, and
It does not differ at all on the previous application,
Right.
so I've just repeated the word in the plan.
You covered it very well, David, with a very detailed thing about the colours, everything, but
This is what we said last time we had to debate.
it was a very big
Yeah.
discussion we
It
had
was
with it.
your meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at the end.
Was it on?
Yeah, it was, because we
It was, yes.
had a little discussion about it, because it was some
Yeah.
kind of something at the back of the, whatever it was. So we just had a little talk about it, and we basically said times, the access that they go. You said.
Does this
Be-
I assume so. I asked Terry if it differed in any way, and he said no.
right?
Yeah, you can't go through the town centre, there's no Luton Road, or via the Weekensted Road. So that's what we all said about it being difficult time.
I don't know. I mean, I can go back to Terry and ask.
There's no objection to the district on the previous one.
No, it's very strange. This district, it's a strange roundabout way, there is constituency as well. It's agreed by county, it's not actually agreed, so yeah.
And they're like helicopter in here.
Right. 70 Townsend Lane.
So 30 Southend Road, you didn't worry about?
But that is...
This is this corner, this is this corner plot, he was being extended with not done with already.
It really was. That should be Townsend first.
Right, sorry. Because I've taken it out of order. This one, I didn't do it because it looked quite dramatic, quite a lot.
However, it does appear to be very similar to the previous. And the other thing, I couldn't see online a front elevation. Have you got a front elevation?
Yes.
Oh, it's a very small plan.
That one.
I mean, this is quite a large plot.
It is.
Very flat.
Yeah. They're very detailed.
Yeah, and I don't know how deep it is, but I don't know whether the ability to like that control now, my understanding is that this is very similar to the previous one.
Okay.
And I would just wonder what the differences were. Have you got a previous one?
Not printed off, no. I can very quickly go to them though.
No, it's okay, because I mean, if you look at the drawings here, the drawings originated in October 13.
So yeah.
And then they
made the amendment.
So I think it is relatively minor amendment. So the dormant been added, updated, something cluster added. So I think we're in the same territory as before.
That's fine.
But we tend to go along with that then.
Oh, happy.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's going to be
Right. 30 Southbound Road. Now, this is not.
This isn't Mr. Bradshaw, so it's Mr. Bradshaw's neighbour.
Okay, and then you were a little bit concerned that the side extension, the two-storey side extension might be...
Yeah, so it's a good size to accommodate the proposal, good distance away from number 29, will not cause the impact. Ample parking and amenity space, question the impact of 45-degree on number 31 in the construction. That's the shade basically.
Well, I'm happy with that.
You're happy with that? I just, when I've got my little tractor out, with this measure, it just is one
Okay,
measure,
so
that's all.
is this the first of these?
It is after the school, well, yes, you've got the school and then you've got attached, yeah. I have got a, so you've got a detached house and then you start to, they're all detached, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they fall to the garage into it now.
Yeah.
Okay, because the detached house, number 25, doesn't go as far back, so Heather was just wondering whether that two-storey is probably right.
where I thought the windows might be, and I did just wonder whether or not...
Well, it's worth
just-
raising.
Yeah, if it was just a little...
Yeah, I know this property very well, I've been in it. This property.
Babysitting, washing cars?
No.
Delivering paper.
Fred. Oh, I'm delivering paper actually, yes, I did deliver a paper along that along that road.
Harry,
Yeah.
we know you well.
Mm.
Okay, so we're happy with having
Yeah.
those recommendations there. 86 Camper Road. So the previous application was withdrawn, we didn't object to it. This is a slightly different.
Yeah, so this scheme differs from the withdrawal scheme. Extension to the bedroom removed, single storey ground floor level extended to the rear, bathroom at first floor extended, impact reduced on number 84, both appears to be in keeping and mitigated. I think when I looked to see the reasons why it was, when it was withdrawn, was it before district even considered it.
Because there is quite a large existing flat roof extension at the back of the place.
Yeah, Camper Road is pretty much like this, actually.
Yeah.
Small road.
Anyway, I'm happy with Kevin's recommendation. Are we content on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Equally for the next one as well, in Manor Close. And then 22 Bowers Way.
Yeah, that's like
I was happy with that. It's on the side, isn't it?
It's just, yes. I mean, but the fact that number 24 is then back so far.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've done lighting.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're off to note a appeal in relation to Byron Road. What that was, and then we're off to note the decision. Oh, I see the alteration to the station house. I've got conditions of yeah, that's the one where we questioned the additional flat where we had
The
the
parking area, yeah.
So presumably that's still in there, but yes, I'm assuming that developed.
Yeah, the better really.
Okay, there'd be nothing else. I will close the meeting.
Okay. 9:20.